Okay, my friends, this evening we're going to become a crossbow. What we want to do, because we have a little short bow, we want to get our bow very much on a sideways angle so that the arrow pretty well comes off straight, similar to a crossbow, because a crossbow would really be in the center. But I'll show you what we mean. Basically, I'm going to get the bow fairly horizontal, and I'm going to do that primarily by just curling my wrist until the bow goes to 180 degrees. And in doing this kind of shooting, we'll use point of aim, okay? Because everything's all square, so we'll do the point of aim. So again, we want to get the bow horizontal, and we're pretending that we're a crossbow, and we're just going to simply line down the arrow almost like we were lining down the barrel of a big cannon on a ship. So roll it over, bring it back. Now look at your point. There. So it's kind of a system. It's kind of mechanical. I wouldn't say it was instinctive. So basically, you know, we have styles where we hold the bow straight up and down. Doing that, of course, is very critical to get the spine of the arrow correct, or it will flick around too far or not far enough and go that way. But in doing this, our arrow flicks towards the target, so the spine doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It will just go straight. Simplifies things quite a bit. So just bring it back and roll the wrist, get it lined up, you know, get inside there, look at the spot. Becoming the crossbow. My shirt that time. I can hear my arrows starting to hit each other. Then the group is getting tight enough. we're taking advantage of the fact that we have a short bow. We can hold it over, get it at about 180 degrees, maybe not quite, but about 180, and get down, line it up. It's kind of simple. Well, I guess that did that. Hit it hard again, so yeah, let's just go over this. What I'm trying to do here is to play with the angles. So I'm just simply getting my bow at about 180 degrees, and I'm simply doing that. I'm kind of overreaching. You can see my wrist goes in a bit of a circle. So I'm just holding it like that and just cocking my wrist and holding it. And that would get you down so that you're basically right behind the arrow. Simple technique. It's a little bit harder to do with a long bow. This is a short Asian bow. You can do that. And there's our hits. Anyhow, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Okay, back in. Okay, my friends. Let's just talk about aiming. What type of aiming? Well, I kind of like point of aim. Basically, I'm lining up the center of the target with the arrow tip, which is on the gap line. Just a bunch of words. It's not too hard to get the bow to shoot straight, that is left to right, you know. But elevation is much more difficult. So you need a reference point if you're aiming. If you're shooting strictly instinctive, well, that's a different matter. But I'm trying to aim, so I need a reference point. You know, scope has two lines on it, right? An up and down line and a cross line. Well, a bow must have an up and down and a cross also.
Next year we are Tuba Skinny. We're here on tour from New Orleans, and we're getting near the end of the tour, so this is a really nice way for us. One of our last shows
Heard that one a little bit.
before we go home. The last tune was called The Faraway Blues.
So we need two positions if we're going to aim.
Can you hear me okay?
So getting the elevation is much more difficult. Popping arrows out of the target. good to shoot a few shots, pretty well every day. Yeah. Wish they had better foam in these targets. They certainly cost enough. The foam gets all chewed up. Spring back there. Anyhow, we hit our target, and we'll stop for a second. Okay, listen. If you're going to shoot a bow, you can always haphazardly do it by feel or whatever you want to call it. Repetition. I guess it all works. But if you want to be able to aim that arrow, you need a couple of reference points. So you want to get the arrow lined up so that it's straight. Now, usually you can do that by just canting the arrow back and forth, and that will adjust your tip. But the elevation, because your eye is higher than the corner of your mouth or any spot down here, there's a tendency to hold your arrow on a slight angle. It looks more or less horizontal from your eye, but it's not. It's an illusion. So we want to get away from that. Anyhow, what we want to do is have a spot that we know from reference that if we put the tip of our arrow, it will arc into the target, right? We're going to aim at this spot here, and we want to arc. So to do that, basically fire a couple shots and go and measure it. At this distance on this target, I find that I have to aim about 15 inches lower than the center to hit the center of the target. So, you know, that's a distance of about like that. So that could throw you off because you're trying to hit the target, you try to point at it, and of course you shoot over the target. So anyhow, what we want to do is get it back, get that tip, as we're lowering that arrow, get that tip right on that gap line. And we know that if we let go then, and we've got the cant correct, then we're going to arc into the target. Anyhow, that's it for now, boys. And you know, they're going at all kinds of weird angles now because the foam is so chewed up. But anyhow, you'll hit the target. That's the bottom line. Okay? Okay, have a good night, guys. Bye now.